There have been new developments in the ongoing story around banning TikTok in the US, and we're going to cover them in this video. The reason I've been talking about this story is that it is important for you to understand as a business person. Every business has a marketing budget, and you have to decide how much to spend on meta ads, TikTok, public relations, conferences, etc. TikTok is obviously one of the most successful social media platforms in the world, but you need to be aware of the potential US ban on TikTok when you're deciding how much to invest in that platform. In my last video on this subject, I talked about how India has already banned TikTok a year ago. A growing number of Americans support a ban on TikTok, and a whistleblower came forward with tape recordings of conversations that showed that TikTok was sharing the private information of Americans with the communist-controlled parent company ByteDance in China. These whistleblower revelations showed that TikTok lied under oath to Congress. The idea of the US government banning a company is a big deal. It does not normally happen in the US, but if a company is acting dishonest, misusing customer information, or spying on the US, the government has a right to shut the company down. There has been a growing frustration from the public about big tech in general and their ability to censor free speech. Just this month, a detailed legal petition was filed by Louisiana and Missouri in their court case against President Biden, claiming that the White House engaged in censorship with big tech companies, violating Americans' freedom of speech. The legal document details email communications between the White House and companies like Meta, where the government was telling them specific people to censor, and Meta complied. Now, up until this point, Meta has avoided criticism about banning people. Since they are a private company, they have freedom of speech as well, and the ability to ban who they want. However, if they are banning people at the direct request of the government, that is different. They are no longer acting as a private company anymore, but as an extension of the government. It is a violation of freedom of speech, the First Amendment of the Constitution, for the government to silence their critics. Just this month, there were more congressional hearings. Here is a video of Senator Josh Hawley questioning Meta executive Chris Cox on their actions.
So you're saying that this was, in fact, company policy to have these kinds of meetings with HHS, with the CDC, with the White House directly, that you did engage in this behavior, and you think that it was entirely fine. Is that your testimony?
Senator, I do believe it's appropriate for companies like ours to be in consultation with public health organizations and with government.
And you can confirm that things like taking down a private Instagram account and adjusting your policies at the behest of the White House, and putting into place misinformation policies at the behest of CDC, that those things you think are appropriate. This was company policy to do so. Is that fair to say?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the Instagram account specifically that you're referencing, but we do know that people expected and hoped from the platforms that we would help them get accurate information about COVID during the unprecedented time, especially at the beginning.
Well, isn't there a difference between you as a platform putting forward information and censoring your users at the behest of the White House, the administration more broadly, and the CDC? Isn't there a distinction there?
We specifically wanted to work with public health experts to understand the relationship between information and behavior. And so we did consult with the CDC, the World Health Organization, and others to understand how the platform policies we built were affecting public health.
Well, you didn't just consult with them to understand how they affected public health. You actually censored on their behalf. I mean, you took these emails, I'm just quoting from a sample of them, which, by the way, have been disclosed in litigation. These emails show that you took censorship steps. You took down accounts. You planned misinformation policies. you adjusted your policies at the behest of the United States government. I mean, that's not just some theoretical thing. That's actually targeting your users' speech. But I appreciate your forthrightness, by the way. But you're saying you think that's fine, and that was your policy.
Senator, we've been public about our policies on COVID misinformation specifically, as well as on misinformation generally.
And so you think you're not concerned about any of this? Nothing that I just read to you, you're not concerned about it at all?
Respectfully, Senator, I think the balance of how to protect free expression as well as public safety is a difficult issue, but it's one we're committed to working with outside experts and publishing our work.
Well, I appreciate you being so forthright. As I said, this is actually from litigation between the state of Missouri and the state of Louisiana and the federal government. I anticipate that your remarks under oath today are going to be very interesting and helpful to that litigation. I'll just say this. My view is that the United States government is bound by the First Amendment. They cannot encourage or coerce or incite or collude with a private party to get around the First Amendment. But you've just said to me today that that's basically what they did, that you coordinated with them repeatedly over a pattern of months and years to adjust and target your speech policies for protected speech at the behest of the United States government. I have to tell you, I've got a big problem with that, and I think all your users should too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So what does this have to do with TikTok? Well, TikTok testified at this same hearing. This is a follow-up to their previous comments under oath. TikTok is still facing concerns from the American people that the company is sharing their private information with China. Here's what they had to say.
Let's dig into a few things if we could, specifically about TikTok's links to the Chinese Communist Party. In response to a letter from some of my colleagues, TikTok claimed earlier this year that the company has never shared data, with the Chinese government. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And has never shared data with the Chinese Communist Party. Is that correct?
We will never share data, period.
My question was in the past tense. Has TikTok ever shared data with the Chinese Communist Party?
We have never shared data with the Chinese government, correct?
With the Chinese Communist Party?
Yes, correct.
Have you ever shared it with two members of the Chinese Communist Party?
We have said many times, Senator, that we do have Chinese engineers based in China. I don't think there's any platform up here that would be able to speak to what you're talking about as it relates to the political affiliation of an individual. But I'm happy to assure you that we are ensuring the access controls around our data as well as the storage of that data in the United States.
So I think you're telling me that there are TikTok employees or ByteDance employees who are members of the Chinese Communist Party? Is that what I took?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't be able to verify that.
Oh, well, let me just ask you that affirmatively. Are there TikTok employees or ByteDance employees who are members of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm saying nobody that's sitting on this panel could tell you a political
I'm not interested about anybody's opinion. I'm asking you a factual question. Are there members of the Chinese Communist Party employed by TikTok and ByteDance? Yes or no?
I wouldn't be able to tell you the political affiliation of any individual. What I can tell you is how much we're investing.
I know membership in the Communist Chinese Party is not exactly like membership in the Democrat Party. So I'm looking for an answer. You tell me you don't know? TikTok doesn't know.
Here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that our U.S. and Singapore leadership, there are no CCP members. I can tell you.
So you do know that, but you're telling me that you don't know if there are any members who are employed by TikTok or ByteDance, members of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm happy to share that we are putting access control.
That's not my question. My question is, that's not my question. My question is, are there any TikTok employees or ByteDance members of the Chinese Communist Party? Yes or no?
Senator, I'm saying nobody could sit up here and give you that.
So you don't know? You're saying you don't know. You do know your leadership isn't, but you don't know about your employees. Is that your testimony?
I know that everyone who makes a strategic decision at this platform is not a member of the CCP.
A strategic decision. Okay. Would it surprise you to learn that Forbes magazine recently reported that at least 300 current TikTok or ByteDance employees were members of Chinese state media and affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
Again, we don't look at the political affiliations or can't speak to individuals, but what I can tell you is we're protecting the data in the United States.
Well, apparently, though, you do look at political affiliation because you're quite willing to sit here and tell me that no one who has strategic input or make strategic decisions as a member of the Chinese Communist Party. So you do know very well, as a matter of fact. You just don't want to answer my other question.
We have thousands of people that work at the company, so I'm not going to vouch on the political affiliation of any particular individual.
Have you seen the videos of Chinese Communist Party members conducting training for TikTok and ByteDance employees in China? That's fake?
I do not know what you're referring to, but what I can tell you
Has that happened?
Any decision...
Has that happened?
Sir, I just said that I couldn't be able to tell you.
What the truth appears to be, besides the fact that we can't get a straight answer on any of these questions, is that you have hundreds of employees with, it appears, access to U.S. user data that may very well be members of the Chinese Communist Party. You have no way to assure me that they don't have access to our citizens' data. And you won't answer my question in a straightforward way about whether a CCP member has ever gained access or not. I think, from my own point of view, that's a huge security problem.
Senator.
TikTok maintains that they are not sharing data. However, if that is the case, why don't they simply keep all the data in the US? When the ban on TikTok was first discussed, there was a simple path forward for TikTok to continue to operate in the US. They simply had to use US leadership to control the algorithm in the US, stop sending Americans' data to China, and store Americans' personal data in the US. If TikTok is not doing anything sinister, why not just move US operations to the US? It's a very simple solution that TikTok refuses to do for some unknown reason. The biggest concern in all of this is that the algorithm behind TikTok is not even controlled by TikTok. It is controlled by the parent company, ByteDance, which is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party in China. The algorithm is what controls what videos the users of TikTok actually see. It is known that the Chinese Communist Party uses the Chinese version of TikTok as a method of social control over their own population to distribute propaganda and censor any dissent. Now, TikTok is telling us, after they have already lied under oath, to just trust them, that they are not doing anything like that in the US. So when we look at the current situation of big tech, we have Meta, an American company who is admitting to violating Americans' constitutional rights and censoring speech. If this is happening at an American company that is breaking the law, it takes a lot of faith to think that China is not using TikTok as a weapon against the American people, even though China is one of the main competitors of the United States. The big question remains, why won't China give up control of TikTok and move US operations to the US? If they're not doing anything suspicious, why don't they just do that? As more information continues to surface, I think a complete ban on TikTok is coming. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think that TikTok is going to be banned? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach from Wolves in Finance. Let's go out and make some money.